everybody, this is Brynley from the Pelham Public Library, and today we're going to be making macrame feathers. Macrame is a knotting form of crafting. When you pick up your kit, this is what will be inside: a wood ring, a bundle of macrame cord, and a comb. You'll also need to provide yourself tape of any type and a pair of sharp scissors. First, we're going to take the bundle of macrame cord. The piece that is holding the bundle together is the longer piece. That will be used for our base cord, and the smaller pieces will be used to make the feather. First, you're going to take your wood ring. You're going to fold the long macrame cord in half, and you're going to feed the loop of the macrame cord through the wooden ring, pulling the tails through the loop and pull tight to make a knot around the wooden ring. Make sure it's nice and secure because this is going to be our base cord for the rest of the craft. I like to take tape and tape down the wooden ring and the tail of the base cord so that nothing moves around while I'm trying to knot around the base. Okay, now you're going to take the shorter cords. Two shorter cords will make one knot around the base cord. You're going to fold one cord in half, feed it under the base cord so that there's a loop on one side and a tail on the other. Then you're going to take the second piece of cord, fold it in half, pull the tail of the cord underneath the base through the loop, and then feed that tail through that side loop. Now grab both tails and pull nice and tight. All right, so grab your next piece of cord, feed it underneath the base cord the opposite way to the first one. Take your second piece for the rest of the knot, fold it in half, open that loop and pull the tail of the first cord through that, and then feed the tail of the cord in your hand through the first loop, grab the ends and pull nice and firm, and then push the knot up the base cord so that they're nice and snug together. I'm going to show you how to do the next two knots. Sometimes with macrame, actually showing is a lot easier than explaining. You're going to do this same knot with the remainder of the cord that is in your kit. Okay, I'm going to finish using these cords, and we are going to speed this up a little bit and turn it back on when you've finished yours. Okay, now that this is done, I'm just going to take the tails of all the knots and just give them an extra tug so that those knots are nice and tight all along the base cord. Now, what I'm going to do is also tighten and push each cord up towards the wooden ring, just so that when we do go to pull apart our feather, everything's nice and tight together. Okay, so I like to take my tape off at this point, and I'm going to just put a single knot through the two base cords at the bottom, just so that none of the original knots along the base cord come off or are loosened when we start to comb them out. Push your knot nice and tight, and now we've got our cord with all of the knots on it. Next, what we're going to do, and this is another tedious part, is we're going to unwind the individual cords. So what you'll see, I like to tape my tail down again. I just find it a lot easier to work with something that is stabilized rather than something that's moving around. Each tail of the macrame cord is made up of 4 bundles of thread. I like to separate each of those bundles so that it's going to be easier for us to comb out. Now, some of the macrame videos that I did watch on YouTube, they just started to comb them out. That took a really long time, and I found that by unwinding each of the cord tails, it was much easier to comb and it made for a nicer finish. So you can continue to do this. We will talk again once all of your cords are unraveled. Now that all your cords are unraveled, you can just kind of straighten them out with your fingers. And you can see the difference in the unraveled cords and the raveled cords. So now we're going to take our comb. You're going to see on your comb, some of you may have 2 different sizes of teeth. I like to start with the larger size first, hold the feather tightly along the spine of the feather, and then start to brush outwards, alternating between the teeth that are close together and the teeth that are a little bit farther apart. If you have a pet and you have a dog or a cat brush with those very fine metal bristles, you can also use this. It almost pulls some of the fluff from each strand and gives it a really neat look. Now you're going to decide on the shape for your feather. I did the top of my feather a little wider and the bottom narrow. Grab a pair of scissors. If they are not sharp, I'm going to recommend that you take a piece of tin foil and cut using your scissors to sharpen the blade a little bit. There's quite a lot of cord to cut through, and this will sharpen your scissor blade a little bit. Okay, so you're going to decide yourself how fat or how thin you want your feather to be, and you're going to cut the shape that you would like. I found it quite difficult to sit and do this. I ended up having to stand and use my one hand to pull that side of the feather apart and then make the shape that I was interested in doing that way. put it at a little bit of an angle, moving the cord that you've cut off so that it doesn't get tangled in the rest of it, and make the shape of your feather. If you've got some cord that's not the right length, you can leave that, because once we're finished cutting the shape, we're going to take this comb again and we're going to comb it back out and clip any of the ends that need to be clipped, including the tail. So I take the piece of tape off the tail, unravel the cord, and comb that out as well so that it all goes in together for the final product. Give it another comb to just lay it flat, and then clip anything else that you need to clip to keep it consistent with the shape. Now you're going to continue the same thing on the other side by unraveling all the cords, combing everything out so that it creates a nice feathered, very fine fiber look. And then you're going to clip it as close to the first side as possible. Again, feathers aren't perfectly symmetrical, so do your best. And then take the tape off the wooden ring, and you'll have this beautiful feather that you can hang anywhere. I have mine hanging in my front entrance for everybody to see, and you can make a number of them if you want to hang them in a cluster. Thank you so much. Enjoy your macrame feather.